All right, so I'm going to navigate to, what is it? Roman numerals. I think that was on Saturday. I scroll down, go to Roman numerals. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fork this over to my personal GitHub. So right now I'm on part-time Charlie Platoon. I'm going to fork this over to Tom Preetz. This is my personal GitHub. It's copying it over right now to my personal GitHub. All right, so I see I'm on my Tom Preetz Roman numerals. It says it's forked over from part-time Charlie. Now I'm going to need to clone this code down on my local machine. And what I'm going to do is open up a new VS Code window right here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so it makes it a little more visible. I'm going to CD into CP challenges, a directory that I already kind of have created Charlie challenges right here. So I'm going to clone this code, this Roman numerals down into a directory called Charlie challenges. And so I'm going to click this little green button. I'm going to copy right here, which automatically copies it, or I can highlight that whole thing, do a copy paste. So what is the git command to clone code from GitHub down to my local machine?
Git clone and your what you just copied.
Awesome. So I can write git clone, paste that in there. Okay, GitHub Tom Preetz. So it comes from my personal GitHub. If you ever do part-time Charlie or whatever, and you try to push your code up, they'll say you can't because you don't have write access to the part-time Charlie Platoon GitHub. All right, so I'm going to clone that down. All right, cloning. I'm going to list everything out in my current folder just to make sure that the Roman numerals is there. And there it is, Roman numerals. So I'm going to CD, which is I'm going to change the directory, and I'm going to go into my Roman numerals. I'm going to list everything out, and I'm going to clear the terminal just to get some room. And I'm going to open up Roman numerals into my VS Code because right now I don't have it in here in the Explorer. So I'm going to do code space -r space period. Does anybody know what are you familiar with that command?
We usually do code dot. I think that's what we talked about before, but
okay.
/r is recursive, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so this will close VS Code and reopen it. I mean, maybe code dot still works, but I just typically go code -r space. So it's going to close VS Code, and it's going to open up a new VS Code window with Roman numerals right there. All right. So I'm going to open up Roman numerals. I could do TDD, but for time's sake, I'm just going to jump right into the code. I also don't like the way this is exported. This is one way you can export stuff. Did somebody have a question? Nope. Okay.
Nope.
But I'm going to export this a little bit differently. I'm going to call this const to Roman, and I'm going to make this an arrow, a fat arrow function like so. And in order to export to Roman, I can, at the very bottom, I'm going to do module.exports equals to Roman. So that case, if I ever want to import to Roman, I can just import to Roman like so. And I can so I don't have to do that like rn.r to Roman. I don't like doing that. This will still work. And it's less code. It's a little less, I think, a little less confusing and a little bit easier to read. All right. If you have any questions at any time, feel free to stop me. Like Latasha used the two arrays to store all the data, and some other individuals use objects. I'm going to use objects or dictionaries. Now in Java, I could be mistaken, but in JavaScript, it could be a little, it might not be the best thing to use dictionaries or objects, because as you iterate through an object, their placement isn't guaranteed. like when you iterate through it, but I've never had an issue with it. I've never ran into when I'm iterating through an object that it displays out of order. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create an object / dictionary that contains all the Roman to Arabic values. So where the key is the Roman part. So, and the Arabic is the value. All right. So I need to do that first, but I'm just doing pseudocode right now. And my idea is I'm going to store the object with, 1,000, 900, 500, 400, 190, 50, 40, all the way down to 1 in the object. And I'm going to iterate through the object and start out with 1,000 and see if that 1,000 is greater than, is less than or equal to the input number. If it is, that means I need to use that Arabic, that Roman number or that Roman numeral in my answer. So speaking of an answer, I'm going to create a variable. I'm going to call it answer to store the answer or the result / the Roman numeral. All right. So next I'm going to iterate through the object, and this object is going to look like something like this. Might as well just paste this here just for like so. So this create dictionary variable that's called Arabic to Roman. So I'm going to start at 1,000. If my input number is greater than 1,000, that means I'm going to need to use at least 1 M in my answer. And the idea is, as I iterate through this, so say my input number is, what is it? 1,499. So if my input number is greater than 1,000, that means I'm going to need to use 1 M. So as I iterate through, once I get to 1,000, it's like, all right, I need to use 1 M. I'm going to add this M Roman to my answer variable. And then I'm going to subtract 1,000 from my input number. So then I'm going to subtract 1,000. And therefore I'm left with 499. And then it comes down here is 900 less, there's 499 greater than 900. No, it's not. Iterates down here. Is 500 greater than 499? No, it's not. Comes down here is 499 greater than 400? Yes. Therefore, I'm going to add CD to my answer variable. And then I'm going to subtract 400 from that 499. And then I'm left with 99. So it comes down here. Now is 99 greater than 100? Nope. Is 99 greater than 90? Yes, it is. So I'm going to add this to my answer. Then I'm going to subtract 90. Therefore, I'm left with 9. It comes down here is 9 greater than 50? No. Is 40 greater than, is 50 greater than 9? No. Is 40 greater than 9? No. Is 10 greater than 9? No. Is 9 greater than or equal to 9? It is. So I add that to my answer. So my final answer should look something like M. What was it? M. What was it? CD. M CD XC IX. I guess that should be the answer. Does that logic make sense? So I'm iterating through the object. And then I'm going to say, hey, if my number, it says input number is greater than or equal to the value of the object wherever I'm at. But then we get to like, all right, well, what if I need double? Just kind of like how Latasha had 25, I might need like double X's. Well, I can also, so I can say like, so if number is greater than or equal to the value of the object of the, I guess, key on the object, then I could calculate how many times I need to repeat this M. So maybe if my input was 2,499, it gets to here. Is 2,499 greater than 1,000? Yes, but I need to have 2 M's. Now, how do I calculate 2 M's? I can take 1,000 divided by, oh, hey, bub, divided by 2,499, which, all right, my dog's in the way. So if I take this 1,000 divided by 2,499, that equals 2.499. And if I take the floor of that, of 2.499 equals 2, that's how many times I can repeat this M. So if the input number is greater than or equal to, I can say create a variable called times repeated, which will take the keys value and divide it by the I guess the number, the input number, and round down or get the floor of it. And then I can add, take the answer and add the Roman numeral and have it repeat. I can do that while loop like Latasha did. I can have it loop through it, or I can just use a built-in method called repeat and repeat the number of times. Times repeated. And now I can do that subtraction. So like input number minus this the Arabic, what is it? The keys value times the times repeated. What questions do you have about kind of that logic?
I think what I did is kind of like what you did, but I did math.floor and then num divided by the map key.
So math.floor.
I think I divided the num by the key. I think you in your pseudocode you did it the other way.
I know. Where does it say? I divided by the input number and so I'll take the keys. Oh yeah, you're right. So I had that. You're right. I think it was just a logical error on my part. The input number divided by the keys value. So I take that input number, I divide it by that, the keys value, and then I floor it. Yep. Yeah. Good catch. So if I have that pseudocode here, I can just go through. So I created this dictionary. I can create an answer variable. Let answer equals empty string. I can say for, I can't remember how to iterate through an object. I'm a new developer. I totally forgot. I don't even know if you can, how to iterate through an object in JavaScript.
Key in object. Huh?
I'm sorry?
Key in object.
All right, cool. So for key in object, cool. Got that. So I can say, I'm just going to copy that down here, do some indentation. So for Roman. I don't necessarily need that there, but I can leave that there. So in object in the Arabic to Roman is the object I want to iterate through. So I'm iterating through that object. I can say, hey, if the input number, which is what I'm passing in up here, I'm gonna actually move this all up there just so I can see my entire code. So if my input number is greater than or equal to, let's see, I can do the Arabic to Roman like that. So this is the actual value. I'm gonna actually remove that and let Arabic number, I'm gonna assign that to a variable just because I like everything separate. So this is the actual value. So this will correspond to the 1,000, 900, 500, etc. So if my input number is greater than that, I can say create a variable called times repeated. So let times repeated equals, and that's where I can do that math.floor. That's how you round down. I take that input number divided by the Arabic number. All right. And now here I can, where's the answer? Add Roman number, Roman numeral, or Roman number, repeat. So I can say answer plus equals. Where's that Roman? So that's what this is. So this is that key. So 500, the M, CM. So that's what this value is. And I want to repeat the times repeated. So how many times I actually have to repeat that. And now, so I added that answer. Now I actually have to subtract the actual value from my input number this many times. So I can say num minus equals the Arabic number times the times repeated, because I have to, if the input was 24.99, I'll have to subtract 2,000. So this is 1,000 times number of times repeated 2. So I'm subtracting 2,000 from my input number. And then I can just return the answer. And if everything worked right, I can come over here and just run node Roman numeral, list everything out. So I need to cd into my JavaScript file or directory. And now I can node Roman numerals spec. I've technically passed all those. Let's actually manually do some manual testing, and console log to Roman 24.99. Let's see what that looks like. I forgot what I said that should look like. Roman numerals. So there's the MM for 1,000, 2,000, CD. That's that 400. XC, so 490 right there. And then IX for 9. What questions do you have? No questions? All right. Well, if nobody has any questions, I'll go ahead and